Senan, and today I will be taking a look at the very first Doctor Who story in the 1970s, the first Doctor Who episode in color, the first one with John Pertwee, the first one with LaShaw, and that is, of course, Spearhead from Space. Spearhead from Space aired way back 50 years ago in January of 1970. Of course, it stars John Pertwee making his first appearance as the amazing Third Doctor. If you saw the video from the other day, you know that I really like him. And then, of course, also introduces Liz Shaw as... it introduces Caroline John as Liz Shaw. That's the way around. And, of course, it brings back the Brigadier, played by the always amazing Nicholas Courtney. And it's also the first episode with the Autons. My first impressions of this episode is that it is very, very, very good. It has a reputation, and it definitely deserves that reputation. But let's get into it. So obviously, if you've seen the story, you know that the plot is there are some off-worlders invading Earth with living plastic that are attempting to colonize the Earth, which sounds familiar because you may think, hang on, that's what Rose did, the new series episode. But the thing is, this one did it like 40 years earlier, 30 years earlier. And it is very good in the way that it does that. I would say that the way that it does the Autons in this one, I would say they look scarier in this one. Sure, they look better, more realistic in Rose. I do think that they look better here. I don't really know how this relates to plot, really. But I do think that it's very strong plot, and again, it's a four-parter as well. So this one moves at a very fast pace. It's paced perfectly, knows exactly what it's doing. So obviously this episode has a lot of firsts going for it. This is the first episode in color, and it does make use of its color. It's really effective, especially in showing off its title sequence right away. This is also the first episode with John Pertwee as the Third Doctor, and episode 1 doesn't actually give you the greatest impression of his Doctor. You really get who he is until like the end of part 2, which is fine. But if you look at other Poacher Generation stories like Robot or The 11th Hour, you know exactly who the Doctor is, like, right away. Of course, the Doctor spends the first episode basically sleeping until he finds a wheelchair, which is kind of similar to the Curse's Invasion, only the fact that the Doctor does stuff a bit sooner. The way that they do this, though, it is good, and it does have some good moments, especially when, the Brigadier is like, ooh, the Doctor's back, and he just sees somebody that he doesn't know. I think that works incredibly well, and it's very smart with how it goes. It's written by Robert Holmes, though, and this is the very start of his golden era in the show, really. So, are we surprised that it's this good? No, but it's still very, very good. Of course, Liz Shaw is in this one as well, and she makes a great impression, even though she's just another one of those characters that's just like, oh, they're as smart as the Doctor. They provide a human aspect they give her a human aspect to Liz, and it works so well, and it gives a great first impression of her. This is also the first Doctor Who episode to ever be released on Blu-ray for the classic series, and if you can, watch this in that format, because it will, first of all, it'll make your enjoyment of it better, and second of all, it'll make you say, this looks so good for the entire of episode 1, and C, it'll just be amazing. It'll be a great experience. Obviously, we need to talk about the villains in this one. Chenson is a very strange character. In the first part of the episode, he's just staring there quietly, always hiding in the back of a corner, and then eventually, as the story goes on, he is the main villain, really. Of course, the Nestine consciousness is also there at the end, but it's just a bunch of tentacles things. Since Henchman is also really good, and it's interesting to see how he's able to break free of the mind control. The Autons are also really good in this one, especially the blue ones, because they look the best in HD. The story also has some great scenery and some very iconic scenes, like the Autons breaking out and walking on the streets of London, the TARDIS landing in episode 1, and the Doctor just walking and falling out, and of course the wheelchair scene again. This story is full of great moments. Another one that's driven by character quite a lot, in my opinion. So overall, I'll give this one a 9.5 out of 10. Leave your thoughts about Spearhead from Space down below, and I will see you guys later.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Talent YouTube channel.